I very much believe, and we believe as an organization, that in order to properly market to your customer, you need to understand your customer. You need to understand where they're hanging out online. You need to understand what is the actual pain that they have, because more times than not, people are searching for the pain because they don't know the solution, even if you are the solution. And you got to see what your competition is doing to see if there's, easy opportunities based on that research. No one's doing this on the competition side, but all of your potential customers are hanging out over here. That's the quick win, easy opportunity to start marketing your messaging right there.
Hey, it's the Profit Answer Man, Rocky Lalvani. If you're new to the podcast, check out my interview with Mike Michalowicz. It's episode number 2. If you want to hear about each chapter in the Profit First book, go back and listen to episodes 3 through 13. Episode 1 is the why and how. On the Profit Answer Man, we learn money mastery without all the complicated accounting mumbo-jumbo, using a simple system. Your accountant is busy documenting your transactions and creating a rearview mirror of what happened. My guess is you don't even look at the reports they sent you. If you're like most business owners, you struggle with this, and it's not your fault. We aren't taught money in school, and accountants aren't taught how to be profitable. The Profit First system created by Mike Michalowicz works, and he certified me to help you implement the system in your business. Remember, the new equation is sales minus profit equals expenses. Let's face it, without cash flow, you can't pay your employees, buy needed materials, or pay your mortgage and support your family. I help you to do that and more, so you can focus on the parts of the business you love and receive the rewards for your labor and investment into your business. The stronger you are as a business owner, the more jobs you create, the better we are as a country. Small business owners are the backbone of America, and for that, you deserve to be well rewarded. Just remember, more revenue does not equal more profit. That's why we focus on the bottom line. AI is a game changer, and it's changed the way I do a lot of my work, from getting this podcast out and promoting it to helping me analyze data for my clients and even my meetings and my sales calls. Honestly, I don't go to Google anywhere near what I used to. What are your clients doing differently, and how are you pivoting? That's our convo today with one of my clients. Lori Highby is a podcast host, speaker, educator, and founder of Keystone Click, a strategic digital marketing agency. Using her vast multi-industry knowledge gained from experience and education, she has the ability to see potential or greatness within the already established good of a business. Through strategic, actionable moves, she's worked with Fortune 500 companies and small businesses to achieve their marketing goals. She's a lifelong learner, and when she's not guiding clients or teaching agency account executives how to reach professional excellence, she can be found playing hockey, brewing beer, and hanging out with her husband. Let's meet Lori and learn how she does it. Welcome to the Profit Answer Man, Lori Highby. It's great to have you join us today.
Thanks for having me.
Excited for the conversation. Can you share a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure thing. Well, the fun stuff about myself that people get excited about is that I play hockey, and that seems to be what everyone likes to talk about. But what I do in the business is I own Keystone Click. We are a strategic digital marketing agency helping our clients build brand awareness and generate leads online. We do that by first conducting research, building a strategic plan, and supporting the full implementation of that plan.
It seems like all the business owners I know want to skip that first step, the research. They're like, build me a marketing plan. And it's like, but tell me about your clients and why are they buying from you and why do they want, and they're like,
yeah. that is a common thing, and I've had those conversations all the time. Like, no, just start doing the thing for me. I don't need to build the strategy. Just get into the tactics. But I very much believe, and we believe as an organization, that in order to properly market to your customer, you need to understand your customer. You need to understand where they're hanging out online. You need to understand what is the actual pain that they have, because more times than not, people are searching for the pain because they don't know the solution, even if you are the solution. And you got to see what your competition is doing to see if there's, easy opportunities based on that research. No one's doing this on the competition side, but all of your potential customers are hanging out over here. That's the quick win, easy opportunity to start marketing your messaging right there.
And I think I'm shocked at how many business owners can't answer those questions. But it's okay. That's why we hire experts to help us to be able to do that. Now, you're one of our clients and you use Profit First in your business. How has it helped you?
How much time do we have? No, it's been fantastic, actually, as a creative and marketer. And, I do like to say that I am middle brained, because I like looking at the data and the numbers. One of my weaknesses was understanding the financials of the business. I had read the book. It was given to me as a recommended source to read a few years back. And then you and I met during that terrible life event that no one likes to talk about anymore, where all things went digital. I found that reading the book was one thing, and I was only able to get so far with it. I at least understood it, but working with you has been fantastic, actually, because you've really helped me to understand not just what's happening today, but how it impacts the decisions I make today and how they really impact the future of the business and how I'm setting myself up for success as an entrepreneur.
Well, I'm glad it's going well for you. And yeah, that's the biggest thing we like to do, is to be able to predict the future and know that you can sleep at night tonight knowing that tomorrow will be okay. And every business is a little bit different. Some of them we can look 6 to 12 months out, but it's usually because they have long contract cycles and long delivery cycles. So every business is different, but there's always a way to figure out and predict what is going to happen and how to do that. Yeah, it's kind of funny because Mike goes out and he speaks. And all these people say, yay, yay, yay. And then he comes back and he's like, how many implemented? And like 2 hands go up.
Yeah.
They don't actually do it. And just from the questions that I get emailed to me all the time, I noticed there is just a ton of confusion in how to properly implement it. And hey, creates an opportunity.
Yeah. No, I do. I mean, I am very much a DIY, and it's just my personality is I want to figure it out, and it's kind of how I was raised. And I was trying to do that, but the book, fantastic, but there's obviously a lot more to the process than just what's in the book.
Well, yes. Plus, we do a lot that's not included in the book.
Sure, exactly.
And so that's really where the game changer is, I think, is all the additional things.
Totally.
So we're here to talk about AI, we're marketing, and kind of that whole changing world, SEO and search. It's constantly evolving, right? Google changes their algorithms, every other day or something.
Yeah.
But even more than that, I think AI has changed the whole kind of marketing game. Both how people now search and what they search for, and also how to be found. So I'd love for you to kind of help us understand that.
Wow. So there's a lot to unfold here. And the most important thing you said is that it's constantly changing. So, what we're recording today and what I say when this is published could be completely different, right? Who knows? But I just want to preface with that. But there's a lot that's happening with regards to AI on the positive, but it's also something that we have to understand that the customer journey is changing, because as someone who used to historically always go to Google to find, the solution for whatever that problem was, I would say that the market share of Google is changing right now. And it's not just AI that's capturing it. I think that the time that's being spent is heavier being consumed on a lot of social media channels, right? So people go to Google for a quick answer and then they're leaving, where a lot of consumer time and buyer time is being spent on those social media channels, consuming that information, where AI is playing a factor there. But also then we have all these tools, these AI tools that could kind of, to some extent, answer some of those problems as well. So, and Google's even been playing with that, where oftentimes I will type in a query into Google and the first result is AI generated, which I think is fascinating. But I do appreciate that they're citing the source of kind of where they're coming up with that answer. So an example I like to share, which I think is fantastic, when you compare, let's say you're looking for a recipe to make chicken piccata on Google, or you go to ChatGPT and ask it to make a recipe, how do you make chicken piccata? You're going to get the instant, immediate results from ChatGPT, where on Google, the majority of the results, you're going to have to read someone's life story about ever making any sort of recipe and the history of chicken piccata and blah, 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 before you even find the ingredient list to see, what do I need to buy at the grocery store? So there's some efficiencies there. The challenge with using AI for some of that is, one, how do you know, is there any validation that this is actually the best recipe that's out there on the web? What is the, what is the facts, the sources? One thing I do like about leveraging Google, they'll show the ratings and the reviews. And that, personally, as someone who loves to cook, I like to read those reviews and see how people may have tweaked those recipes. I guess you can ask chat for that experience too, but I don't 100% trust personally, using chat for recipes just yet. But I can see the evolution of any sort of AI tool getting there as well. So that's just one example. I think you can really use tool. I've been using chat. I love this. I'm going to share this. I haven't really told many people about it. I'm a big fan of using Google Trends data to figure out kind of what are the best key phrases to use, just from initial search engine kind of research that I do. But when you go to Google Trends, which is a free public information that's available, you can download the data in a CSV file, and then you can upload it to an AI tool and ask it to analyze the data, identify anomalies and trends and opportunities, and actually specifically ask the AI tool, what is the best plan I should take for my own marketing purposes? So you can use AI to help you figure out what are the target keywords to be focusing on for your messaging. You can help it can help you craft some of that messaging in your, for content. But this is something that's interesting. Some of the changes that Google has made recently with regards to its content is it does still prefer human generated content over AI generated content. And I know they publicly said they don't care as long as the quality of the content is of value. But there have been some tests done by non-Google people where they found that, if it was hybrid, so like partially AI, partially human manipulated, that was, I would say, number two sourcing in their test. But the majority of the site traffic was still 100% human generated content in the test results that I was reading.
And I'm not a writer. So I find ChatGPT very helpful for writing. Mm-hmm. However, when I talk to writers, and it's kind of gone back and forth. In the beginning, it almost felt like they were arrogant to say, "Oh, chat's useless." But over time, I've come to realize the human writers put things in that chat doesn't. Because chat is more predictive. The other thing is ChatGPT will never take a point of view.
Correct.
And let's face it, in marketing and sales, in whatever you're doing, if you don't have a point of view, you're vanilla, you're boring. Maybe you like vanilla. I don't.
100%. Yeah. No, no, you're absolutely right. And that's really what's going to make you stand out, is having a point of view in all of your marketing. You should always take a position on something. And I kind of open with that. We believe that in order to properly market to your customer, you need to understand your customer. That's our point of view, right? Not everyone believes that. Some people just jump in. Oh, Facebook ads worked for all of these clients. I'm going to do it for this client too. That's an assumption.
I will tell you, because I look at the books of lots of companies, and our number one, I'll call it wasted spend or challenged spend, is marketing. And so I'll ask you, the listener, to ask yourself, which dollars that you're spending are providing the maximum return? Do you even know? Is it Google ads? Is it Facebook ads? Is it a billboard? Is it mailings? Like, where are you generating most of your clients from? And have you ever put the cost to the actual results to say, hey, these are our best sources? And like we've talked about, Google keeps changing. So do all these other sources. What might have been good last year might not be good this year, or the messaging that you used prior might not be so good today. So you've got to constantly be on top of it, and you've got to constantly measure. And if we can get leads and dollars spent, we can do a very quick calculation and then understand what's happening. Plus, we can notice when things are changing very quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to challenge you here, Rocky.
Okay.
Because I love this story. When I speak, I like to share this story. I call it my vacuum story. And this was a few years back, but it's still very, very relevant. And it's actually based on research done by Google. My husband and I were married for roughly 12 years. And, our vacuum was done. It was dead. And it was time for us to find a new vacuum. What's the first thing I do? Go to Google. What are the best vacuums, that are around? I don't know. We have hardwood, we have carpet, we had dogs at the time, and so wow, there's vacuums that can do everything. There's robotic vacuums. And so I was just kind of blown away. So I was doing research, reading these different articles about, the Shark versus the Dyson and, whatever, and the get a robot one. Watching videos, because if I'm going to make it, because these things aren't cheap. I didn't realize that. Vacuums are an expensive purchase. Watching videos, if I'm going to buy a vacuum, I want to make sure it's going to do the thing that I say it to do. So there's proof there. I went to Facebook and I said, what is the best? What kind of vacuum do you have? And literally within 24 hours, over 40 people answered my Facebook little random question on some recommendations. And then subscribe to, my family has a subscription to, I forgot what exactly it's called.
Consumer Reports?
Yeah, exactly. Consumer Reports. Thank you. You're in my mind there. And read about it there too, right? So here's a fun thing. I was not going into the store intentionally with the plan to buy a vacuum, but I saw the Shark was on sale. And it was one of the ones that continued to show up the entire time through that journey of me doing research, reading the articles, watching the videos, seeing what people are commenting and posting on my socials and in the Consumer Reports. So I made the purchase. And the moral of that story here is where was the true attribution that said, this is the reason I made that purchase? There were so many different factors that happened from start to finish. You can't really say this Facebook ad is the number one reason why I have new business now, because there's lots of variables involved that influenced that decision at the end of the day.
There are, but I'm also guessing, did you actually see an ad for the Shark vacuum from Shark?
I'm sure I did, honestly, based on my research and talking about it and seeing it. I mean, I don't have 100% certainty on that, but I would make some assumptions that I did. But I bought it in person, though. And that's a thing that I think is fascinating, too.
And in that case, nobody even knows who bought it, right? Because if you walk into a store and you buy it, they don't know. unless you're me, because I took a picture when I bought the shark at Costco because it was right before Christmas, and I mentioned how I was getting it because it was on sale. Now that set off a firestorm on Facebook, but it was okay, because my wife handed it to the lady who cleans our house and said, "Here," and so she was happy.
Sure.
But it did get people talking. And that's
Yeah,
it.
and
Created a
well, and
buzz.
exactly, and that's I mean, there's an argument to be made about the direct attribution of we did this specific thing, this generated X amount of dollars, but there's a lot of activities that go on beyond that specific investment that do have an impact on the ultimate decision that's being made.
So how does a biggest business owner know where then to put their time and resources if this is the case?
This is why you do research to understand your customer. Where are they hanging out online? What is the pain that they have that that you ultimately can solve that problem for? How are they talking about that pain? What words specifically are they using so that you can craft messaging that's going to connect and resonate with them, pull them in to want to learn more about what you have to offer? I mean, most people nowadays are doing about 85% of their research online before taking action, even to just fill out a contact form or sign up for a newsletter or an event. The majority of that research, of that buying process, is happening before any action with related to your organization is taking place. So that's the part I feel like a lot of companies are forgetting about, which is more of that brand awareness. They want to go straight to lead generation. And people need to have a level of trust before they even want to give you their email address, because we all love how many emails we get nowadays, right?
I fixed that. I use SaneBox. It sorts them all. I only see the ones I want. Game changer. It's funny because we got a retaining wall, I think, a year or two ago. And the way we found the vendor was I posted in our local neighborhood group about, who does retaining walls and what recommendations. And the companies that were paying attention to that and doing the reach out directly were the ones that I ended up getting quotes from because they responded to my ask.
Sure.
And I think that's a part of social media that companies aren't always paying attention to what other people are doing in particular neighborhood groups or different places, whether it's next door or a particular Facebook group for certain groups. And so again, it's just research. If you know your people are hanging out there looking for information, then you spend a little time and figure out a way to keep track of that. There's another change that's kind of come in the search, which is perplexity.ai, which is kind of summarizing search. So you kind of get the best of chat and Google, I guess, right?
To some extent. I do like Perplexity a lot. I use it. Let me take a step back. When chat first came out and I started playing with it, my biggest fear was that people are automatically going to trust this because everyone automatically trusts whatever they see online right now. And there was no citation or proof of where this information was coming from. I always like to share the story of I asked ChatGPT to write a bio about me, and it was amazing, except I did not do a third of the awesome things it said that I did. So that right there was like, okay, I don't trust this. But yes, Perplexity cites the source of the information, but we have to remember that the internet is full of a lot of nonsense information. So you still want to validate, verify. I remember I used Perplexity to help me kind of map out an activity to do in a workshop that I teach. And wanted to have some sources of the information. And when I clicked on some of the links, I'm like, yeah, I don't really trust this information. let me give this another stab in another platform. So you still want to validate and verify, the sources that that it's giving to you. And even sometimes I've clicked on the links and they, I don't see any reference to what they were talking about. So great tool. Not 100% perfect, just like any other AI system that's out there right now.
And you can program chat to provide you references if you ask it to.
Yeah, I have asked chat to do that too.
Yeah. But the one thing I have noticed with chat is, I'll call it lie. Chat will lie with a very convincing argument. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know enough to question it,
yep,
you've got the wrong information. Now, if you question it, it will go, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. You're correct. But you have to know to question it. And so you do have to be very careful using these types of things and figuring out how it does. So with these constant changes, most business owners are busy trying to deliver their products and do everything else. How are they supposed to keep up with all of this?
It's a great question. There's a handful of sources where I continue to stay educated on the latest and greatest. I'm a big fan of the Marketing AI Institute, and they have a fantastic podcast. But at the same time, it's like I can't even keep up with the podcast. We'll drop 10 new platforms and updates and one listening, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to do with this information, but that's crazy that this is happening now. If someone's looking to get started in AI, I like to just say, figure out something that you're doing in your business right now that is either repetitive or some sort of challenge that you have where it can try to automate or alleviate some of that responsibility as a good starting point. So you really want to look at it to help create some sort of an efficiency or add value to your business on some level. If you're going to, well, not if, everyone should be looking at how they can leverage AI in their business.
That they should. Is SEO still important then?
SEO is definitely still important. Think about where the source of the information is coming from that AI is generating its content. It's from the internet. And I can tell you, anytime I've spoken about AI, I ask how many people are using it. And I would say the majority of the room is still like 20-25% are actively using AI. And even then, when I dig deeper, they're barely scratching the surface. So I would say there's still very much early adopter stage. And the individuals who have been using Google, I still use Google every day, but I also use AI and Google now. Google is not dead. SEO is not dead. It's still part of the customer journey and part of the process. So I would definitely still be focusing on creating content. That content is coming from somewhere that AI is publishing and sharing. So don't give up on Google or SEO just yet.
Is there a way to get AI to notice your content so that it's giving your material? But at the same point, the struggle is, even if it's using your material, if it's not telling people where it came from, and if people aren't bothering to click the link to follow back to you, it's kind of this catch-22.
Well, that is a big argument and a discussion point that's been had in our industry. And I love how this is circling back to, remember that customer journey where I said roughly 80% of the people really aren't paying attention to the brand awareness side of things. They're focusing on lead generation. That is where you're going to have that big differentiator, is that you have a unique position and point of view, and you have a huge emphasis on your brand awareness, so that when AI is giving information and answers and solutions, your brand is all engaged and kind of tied in and infused to that response. So putting a bigger emphasis on brand awareness is probably more important today than it's ever been for your long-term marketing strategy.
So what does a small business owner do? I mean, because we usually don't focus on brand awareness as a small business owner, right? Because you're in a small town or maybe even a mid-sized town. It becomes overwhelming to kind of necessarily build a brand. Or is it just that you've got content with your brand name? So if somebody looks for your brand and is searching for you, you become available?
It's both. I mean, you need to have, regardless of the size of your business, you need to let people know you exist. I always
Yes.
like to use the "if you build it, they will come, fulfill their dreams" reference there. Like, that is the opposite of business. You need to let people know you exist, and what you stand for, and that's why having messaging or positioning, a point of view associated with your brand is going to help differentiate you, and is going to help you show up, regardless if you're a local mom and pop shop or a large, international entity. It's brand awareness. That's that top of mind awareness, so that when someone asks that question or searches for something, your brand is the one that pops up as, yes, this is the right solution for my problem.
Anything else we should have talked about with regards to kind of the changing space of SEO and AI and marketing and what business owners should focus on?
It's so big. There's so many things there. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint that. I think that, one of the areas I feel is often overlooked right now with regards to SEO is voice optimization. So again, that's still creating content. That's using your Siri, using your Alexa. I mean, people are starting to engage more and more with this technology of, and getting used to just having this, virtual audio assistant, where if you're looking to, someone's asking a question and looking for, the answer to that, again, properly optimizing your content so that you're showing up as the best results from these. Siri is AI, Alexa is AI. These are voice search optimization is extremely important to take a look at.
And I heard Siri is coming up with a massive AI update with the next version, I guess, due out this fall. They kind of fell behind there. So we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, well, it's a race to God knows where, but it's everyone's going to continue to try to outdo everyone else. So the technology is only improving, and it's improving faster and faster, which is scary because it's hard to keep up with what you can do with these tools now.
It is, and there are literally so many different choices that it's incredible. Actually, I just signed up to be waitlisted for Search GPT, which
Mm,
is, I guess, ChatGPT is now creating their own search AI bot.
sure.
So we'll see what happens. I know we use it a lot for the podcast.
Yep.
So AI does our show notes, creates social media stuff. Now, you still have to go in and fix it. It creates possible titles for the episodes. It does all kinds of stuff for us. And so it's helped to make it easier,
Sure.
but you still, sometimes the answers come back horrible.
Oh,
And
I agree. Yeah.
yeah,
Like, I can do better than
yeah.
that.
And so, but yeah, you have to learn to, it's a skill and you've got to learn to play with it. It's definitely changing. And if you use it well, then you can lower your costs and be more profitable. And at the end of the day, that's what we want everyone to do.
Totally. Yeah. And there's a learning curve, though. That's no doubt about that.
There is. And again, as a business owner, you got to ask yourself, which hats do you want to wear and
Hmm.
which hats do you want to outsource?
Totally.
And if you enjoy it, do it. If you hate it, give it away. It's really that simple, right? Because I know you won't do what you hate.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a big part of it. If people would like to learn more about you and check out Keystone, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. KeystoneClick.com is the website, and I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. Just search for Lori Highby. I post daily, either marketing tips and podcast episodes. Yeah, those are the best two places to connect.
And we'll put that in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, this is great. Thanks a lot.
What changes do you need to make, and how can you use AI to help you market as well as deliver your services? Look, the cost of entry is so low. That means it can be super profitable and it can make your employees' work more productive. However, as we talked about, it is not perfect. So you can't trust it. You need to go verify the information. And also, you need to have a point of view. AI will not provide that. Yes, it will give you ideas, but you've got to have your unique selling proposition. And at the end of the day, this is just another example of how you don't need more resources and how you can be more resourceful with AI, which will help you improve and focus the bottom line.
If you'd like for us to be a part of your profitability journey, we have different programs available ranging from do-it-yourself to one-on-one coaching. Our course, The Profit Blueprint, teaches you everything you need to know to transform your profitability. There are 3 different tiers ranging from DIY to done with you so that businesses of all sizes can get the support that's best. Join the waitlist in the show notes to get more information and be a part of the next cohort. If you want a done-for-you service, you can hire us as your Chief Profitability Officers. We only work with a handful of clients, so they all get our full attention. We work with business owners who have or are growing to $500,000 to $10 million in revenue. You can use the scheduling link in the show notes to get on our calendar for a good fit conversation to see if we're the right people to support you and how we can help you.
Remember to check out my other podcast, Richer Soul, where we talk about how to live the ultimate life and be the best business owner you can be. As we close out, let's repeat the mantra. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. Have an abundant and profitable week.